Okay, we're up to the third parak in the Sefta Nazir, and we might be doing something a little different. I'd like to go back to Daf Hey Amid Aleph. I'd like to go to Daf Hey Amid Aleph. Understand this Gemara, it behooves us. I can just 1 second. Ellie, I knew you were going to call. I'm saying a Daf Yomi share right now. Can I call you back after the share? Okay, great. Okay, but so you recognize my number. We'll talk. All the best. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to see a machloikis that we saw previously. I'd like to go through it because the Gemara is it'll facilitate us understanding the Gemara, the Mishnah, and all the cases that follow. Okay, so again, it's a lot of Chazara, but some Peyam and Aleph the Mishnah. Stam Nazir Islam Yom. Okay, Stam Nazir. This is when the Shemayim we call it Mishnah Shabbat Peh. You could stay this Mishnah. You know Mishnah Peh. Stam Nazir Islam Yom, and we had machloikis. We had machloikis where you know this from. Okay, we had machloikis. Omar says the Gemara. Menani Mili Omar of Masna Omakra Kodesh Yiyeh, and Yiyeh B'Gematria is Tilson. Yiyeh Gematria is what is 30. So Kodesh, you're a Nazir Kodesh for what? For 30 days, which is that's his name. Barpada, however, the opinion Kneged Nazir Nazira is Lamed Chasrachas 29. So the machloikis, guys, this is very important. Machloikis, according to Rav Masna, the Amoira, it's 30 days. According to Barpada, the Amoira, it's 29 days. Let's turn the page. Three lines down. Tanan. Stam Nazir Shleishim Yoim. Bishlem Rav Masna Nicha. He says 30 days. El Barpada Kasha. Amalach Barpada Aidi the Ika Yoim Tilson. Since there's day 30, the Migala will maybe Kabbanaisav that you're busy taking your haircut and bringing your Kabbanos. In other words, you're 29 days you finished your Naziris, and on the 30th day you're concluding it by taking your haircut and bringing the concluding Kabbanos. Tanan Misham Areini Nazir. This is going to be our Mishnah, guys. This is going to be our Mishnah. Tanan Misham Areini Nazir. Someone who says I want to be a Nazir. Migala Yom Shloishim V'Echad. He finishes his Naziris 31. Bishlem Rav Masnu says that Stam Naziris is 30 days, and he learns Rav Kodesh Yiyeh Nicha. El Barpada Kasha. You should finish on day 30, not day 31. You should finish on day 30, not day 31. Amalach Barpada Ema Seifa. In Gilach Liyam Shloishim Yatza. This is the Seifa of our Mishnah. If you take a haircut on the 30th day, you would be Yatza. So therefore, El Seifa Misayale. Seifa is a Raya to Barpada, but Reisha, how will he explain the Reisha of 31? Nasik Ha'im Shloishim will view it as what? If he said a full 30, in other words, I want to be a Nazir for 30 days. If he says Stam, it's 29. But if he vocalizes that I want to be for 30 days, in fact, he will be for 30 days. And he can't bring Kabban until 31. Now, Ula Rav Masna Kasha Seifa, fellas. Rav Masna who said 30 days, and you bring on 31. Here the Mishnah says, if you bring it on 30, you would be Yaitza. Our Mishnah, again, this is going to tie in, right? So, Ksava Mixes Yom Kikula, big Yisod, guys. He holds Mixes Yom Kikula. That was yesterday's daf and today's daf. In other words, as soon as you hit day 30, right, the Mixes Yom Kikula, it's like you kept a full day of Naziris. Memela, if you would go ahead and bring your kabbanis on that day, it's like you finished Mixes Yom Kikula. That's in other words. And in fact, fellas, Mida Araisa, we do say Mixes Yom Kikula. It's the Gezerah Ato Naziris of saying Shleishim that what you only go to day 31. That's what the Rabbanan did Gezerah. Tanan, Hareini Nazir Shleishim Yoim Imgila. Now, Imgila Yoim Lamed Lo Yatza. If you go ahead and you take a haircut on day 30, you're not Yatza. That's the Kasha Rav Masna. Rav Masna says you need it for 30 days. If you say Mixing Yom Kikuloy, you should be Yatza on day 30. Says, no, you said, in fact, I want full 30. You don't say Mitzlayim Kakuloi if your Naziris is a full 30 days. Guys, anytime you say a specific date, you don't say Mitzlayim Kakuloi. Tanan, Misha Nazir Beis Naziris, again, this is also the Mishnah. Misha Nazir Beis Naziris, someone who goes ahead and is a Nazir for 2 Naziris. Megaleach es harishona yom lamid. He takes the haircut on day 30. Ve'echad 31. This is a kasha on barpada because you're taking the haircut on day 31. Ve'hashnia liyoim shishim ve'echad, and the other one is going to be on 61. How do you figure? Now you know beautifully. Day 31 will be, we'll say mixas yom kikulo. It'll be the last day of the concluding of your first Naziris, and you're going to start counting the Naziris of the next one that day. 30 days later, it'll give you day 61. Good. Now, actually, yeah, 31 days later, it'll give 61. Now, Bishleim Rav Masna, Bishleim according to Rav Masna, Nicha. After all, 31 days. El Bapada Kasha, it should be day 30. So Amalach Bapada, Ema Seifa. I'll ask you from the Seifa of the Mishnah. Dim Gilach es Arishayna liyam shloishim, Megaleach es Ashniya liyam shishim. Oh, and what happens if you take a haircut on 30? You're good, yes? Right? And then you're going to start that day, you're going to count 30 days, it's going to end up on 60. So like you, Rav Masna, you can only go to 31, not 30. The safe Messiah lay, the safe is a right to Bapada, Resha that said 31, by Mashleiman, the same teretz. You said a full 30. Since I said a full 30, I can only go on 31. For the Masna Kasha Seifa, guys, the Kasha Seifa that says you can do on 30. Amalach Rav Masna, Kidiktani Seifa, Yom Shleishim Oil Lakan. That's that we say Mixiyam Kikulai. That's right. Day 30, we're counting as the last day of the first Naziris and the first day of the second Naziris. Read the Gemara, Maihi, Mixiyam Kikulai, Amr Chadasim, you already said it one time. So Madu Taima might think. I would say, in other words, I'd only say when you won the Naziris one, I will say Naziris light. In other words, I'll say Mixiyam Kikula if it's day 30 instead of 31, 30. But over here, you're playing both sides of the fence. It's the last day of the first Naziris and the first day of the second Naziris. That's the Chiddush. Hanan, Im Gilach Yom Shishim Chaser Echad, 59 days, Yatza. Why? Shiyam Shleishim Oila Loi Min Aminyan. Now, Bishleim Rav Masna Nicha Elabapada Lomali Hama Shleishim Chasa Echad. In other words, according to him, it works out perfectly. It's not. You don't even need a reason. That's my source for 29 days. That's my source. Again, this is all the Mishnah guys. Nitma Yom Shleishim. If you go ahead and get Tameh on day 30, Seiser Es Hakol, it's going to go ahead and wipe out all 30 days. Bishleim Rav Masna Nicha. You're finishing a Naziris already. Why is it wiping it out? You finished on day 29. Why, if you get Tommy on the day after, why is it wiping it out? Why is it wiping it out? Guys, when you say any Seiser Shiva means it's not Seiser at all. Shiva means you need 7 days to go ahead and take care of your tummy mace. Guys, important. When you say 7, it means that it takes me for the paraduma, I got to get spritzed day 3 and day 7 and go to the mikvah. So when it says ain't a seiser, meaning it's not seiser at all. The 7 days is not a Naziris stikadin, it's a tamei meis stikadin. I got to take care of that. So says Barpada, I go according to Rebbe Lez, I'm doing good. So so what's the aleph? So the chayra, is she override the whole thing? Because some Rebbe Eliezer makes Yom Kikulai, like Mr. Yom Kikulai. Okay, so this is based on one more case. Tanan, Harini Nazir Meya Yoim. I'm a Nazir for 100 days. Nitma Yom Meya Seiser Sakol. Rebbe Eliezer I mean Seiser El Shleishim Oli. Yisal Kedaytach Sav Rebbe Eliezer mixing Yom Kikulai Nista Shiva. You should be finishing Naziris. The Loisav mixing Yom Kikulai Nista Kulai all of it. So Loilam Loy I mean mixing Yom Kikulai, but a special halacha. Now, what's the special halacha? Skip a line. If you get Tameh on the day that you're fulfilling the Naziris, is Torah's Nazir, is what does it say? That Torah Nitma by Biyam Lais, Tain like Torah's Nazir. You go ahead and give another 30 days. Okay, this is the Machlokes Barpada and Rav Masna. The reason I did it is we're now going to go ahead and do the Mishnah. We're going to see all these cases, and we'll stick in how it works out according to Barpada and how it goes according to Rav Masna. That's what we're going to see how it works out. So let's begin. We're in Tez Zayin Amid Aleph, and we welcome the young fellow from Crown Heights. Says the Mishnah. Misha Amar Hareini Nazir. Someone says, "What? I want to be a Nazir." Meaning, at Stam Nazir, guys, is Lamed Yoim, Megaleach Yom Shloshim ve'echad. He's Megaleach, what? 31. Why? Let's go. According to Rav Masna, that's the din, right? Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom, 31 is the day afterwards. According Bar Pada, it's right. It's we're going to view it nasa kashlemim, that in other words we're worried that people might make a mistake with stam naziris, and most naziris is 30 days, so therefore it's you go on the 31st day. Then gila liam shleishim yaitza, according to Bapada, very geshmak, your yaitza why? Because 29:30. According to Rav Masna, mixes a yom kikula. Guys, geshmak is anything, right? Mixes a yom kikula. Next, I mean nazar shleishim yaim. I'm nazar for 30 days. This is not stam naziris. Here you spoke out the 30. You didn't say stam naziris. You said 30 days. Im gilach liyam shleishim. If you megaleach and yom shleishim, lo yatsa. You're not yaitza. Why? According to everybody, even according to Bapada, you won't be yaitza. Why? Because once you express 30, it's got to be 30. Geshmak is anything, right? Sometimes you have to know what to do. So mi shenaza shtein naziros megala es harishayna. Someone who goes ahead and is a kabel to naziris megala es harishayna yom shleishim ve'echad. Day 31. Again, according to Ramasna, that's your din. According to Parpada, it's like you said shleimim. That's hashniya yom shishim ve'echad. That's mixes yom kikuloi on the day 31. Good. The imgilach es harishayna yom shleishim. Right? If you do want shloshim, that Barpada, according to his din, and Rav Masna mixing Yom Kikuloi, you're going to go to Yom Shlishim, because right, the second Naziris begins on the day of the ending of the first Naziris. If you go on day 59, you would be Yaitza. Right? Again, because that's if you start counting, 59 really is 30 days, right? It's 30 days. 60 is 31 from 30. 30, if you count 30 to 30, it's not 60, it's 31. If you count 29, it's 59, it's 30. So therefore, it would work out. And so Edis Heir of Papayas, Almisha Nazar Shtein Naziris, the guy who made a netted to be a Shtein Naziris, Shem Gilach es Harishayna Yom Shloshim, Megalach es Hashniel Yom Shishim. Shem Gilach Yom Shishim Chaser Echad, Yaitza. If you do 59, it would be Yaitza. Sheyom shel shloishim oilaloi min aminyan. Since day 30 counts, if you count 30 days from day 30, you'll get 59. Geshmak. Okay, now Misha Amareni Nazar. Now it gets a little more complicated. Someone says, "I want to be a Nazar." Misha Amareni Nazar. I want to be a Nazar. Nitma yom shloishim. If he becomes tummy on the 30th day, Saiser esakol. Of course, when does his Naziris end? The earliest he can, if you don't come onto the mixes Yom Kikuloi, the earliest he can go ahead and take a haircut is 31. So he's still a Nazir. If he's still a Nazir, it goes ahead and overrides his whole Naziris. Meaning it's not Saiser at all, right? Meaning he's finished his Naziris, mixes a Yom Kikuloi, this day is finished, and therefore 7 days is only to get rid of the mace part. 7 days is only to get rid of the mace part. Hareini nazar shloishim yoim. If he says I'm a nazar for 30 days, nitma yom shloishim. And now this is a full-fledged one. Soiser esakol, according to everyone. By George, you got it right. It's laid out in front of you. There it is. Now, here's interesting. Hareini nazar meya yoim. You took upon yourself an extended naziris of 100 days. Nitma yom meya, saiser esakol. You would go ahead. Why not?
He said meya yom. He said meya yom, no?
So he said meya yom, and you became Tommy on the 100th day. So you're supposed to take a haircut on 101.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right.
So saiser esakol meaning he's got to count another 100. It's like shloshim. It's like shloshim. Now, Rebbe Eliezer Oimer ain't a saiser el shloshim. Now you know the reason. I just did it with you. Like Rabbi Eliezer, if you get Tameh on Yom Malos, on the day that you're finishing the Naziris, Zois Taras and Nazir, you give him Taras and Nazir, you give him another 30 days. You give him a Naziris. And Stam Naziris is Shloshim Yom. Okay. Nitma Yomeya ve'echad. If you get Tameh on day 101, so basically you finish your Naziris, Sois Shloshim. We're going to see Taisvus in this, okay? This is Din Rabbanan. Guys, this is Din Rabbanan. Because basically you finish your Naziris already. You counted 100 days. Why in the world are you going to be Soisa? So why, and where does 30 come from? So we'll see, it's a Din Derabanan, we'll see Taisvis Bez Hashem Yisbarach. Rabbi Eliezer, ain't a Soisa Shiva. It's not Soisa at all. 7 days. Okay, I think the only thing we really have to, we got the recap, we got the idea here. The thing we just have to see, if it's day 101, where do you get 30 days from? So let's see. Turn to the Amid Bays. Turn to the Amid Bays. And you'll see the Taisvis, the first wide line. Guys, the Taisvis on the first wide line. Nitma biyoim kuf aleph, slices shloishim. If you were Makabal Naziris for 100 days, you became tummy on day 101. So it's not Saisa all the 100, but it's Saisa what? 30 days. Midrabbanan ba'alma. Who? This is all the Rabbanan. If Rebbe Eliezer is the one who's mechadish that you're going to give the melos of a Nazir, the Chachamim don't buy into that. So this din of being Saisa on day 101 and keeping another 30 is the Rabbanan. And therefore, since it's the Rabbanan, doesn't go over the whole 100, it just takes care of the 30. The Hayel v'yoim kuf aleph, yoim tiglachas, since day 101 is the day that he can take a haircut, the yoim habas kabbanaisav, and the day he can bring his kabbanis. Gazrinan, where guys are 101, at the hecha the nitma b'yoim shloishim. Guys, Yom Shloishim, could you take a haircut midaraisa? Mitzvah Yom Kekula, right? So day 101 is similar to 30. Good. So therefore, they made a gezerah that you have to go ahead and keep. If you keep, you go ahead. Both these days are roy to bring karbanis. They're roy for the glachas. They were guys to the following. Heichadam areini nasa stama. When he says in the Amenasa Stam, Yom Shloishim is Yom Tiglachas Minatayra Rav Masna. That day, Mixli Yom Kekulu Rav Masna, you can take a haircut. Mishum the Oman, Mixli Yom Kekulu. Ulabar Pada, Shem Yom Chavtes, Nishlam Anasiris, Ubiyam Shloishim, Megalech Minatayra. So in other words, everyone holds day 30 has the rice to take a sauce. Even Rav Masna, Mixli Yom Kekula, and Bar Pada, that's the day after he finishes Naziris. Then Nitma Biyam Shloishim, Saisel Rav Masna Minatayra. And if you became Tameh on Yom Shloishim, Rav Masna holds it's Saisel everything. Therefore, they were Geizer Yom Kuf Aleph at the Yom Shloishim. Okay, so guys, outside. There's a commonality between day 101 and day 30. The commonality is that day 101 is the day you finish, you're bringing your kabbanis and haircut, and day 30 could be the day that you're bringing, according to Rav Masna, it could be the day that you're bringing your kabbanis and the haircut. Good? However, we know if you're matami on day 30, like Rav Masna, it's Seiser Sakol. It goes back over everything. Now, why don't you say Mixli Yom Kekulai? Guys, listen, here's a kasha. It's day 30. It's day 30. You really could take a haircut and use the Mixli Yom Kekulai. This is very important. Guys, this is a big site. This is important. Why, like Rav Masna, why does it override the Naziris? Why is it Seiser Sakol? Once day 30 hit, why don't we say Mixli Yom Kekulai, like Rav Masna? Because later, if I wanted to, I could bring my kabbanis, correct? And then it's mashlim in the zira. So why is it slicer everything? You hear the kasha? Again, we just saw, if you said stam Nazir, comes day 30, in fact, if you would go ahead and bring your kabbanis, you would be yaitza. Okay? Says the Mishnah, it's slicer sakol. It overrides the whole thing. You have to start again. Why? Why do you have to start again? Like Rav Masna, why do you have to start again? Let's say Mixli Yom Kekulai, and you're finished. Guys, here's the chiddush. You only say Mixli Yom Kekulai after you bring the kabbanis. If you got tummy before you brought the kabbanis, you don't say Mixli Yom Kekulai. You only say Mixli Yom Kekulai after b'di'eved. If I brought my kabbanis and took a haircut, then I would say Mixli Yom Kekulai. But to contract tuma and then use the din of Mixli Yom Kekulai to override and say I'm not tummy and therefore I'm finished, you can't do that. Correct. You don't say no, because if you take a haircut, it is a kula. For you yaitza that day, you don't have to wait at 31. But over here, this Taisvis says it. The Taisvis
But the penalize you by giving the minimum Nazir, not giving him the.
Right, exactly. Since it's the Rabbanan, we're only going to go to 30, right? Since the Rabbanan, you're going to only go to 30. The Taisvis, okay, let's do it correctly. Guys, I'll show you what the Taisvis is. The Taisvis is all the way back. Oh, I'm in the Durham. Thanks, bro. I was wondering what's so bad. I could go back. Yeah, could go back to Yavamis. That'll be a problem, right? Okay. I don't know. Maybe I see it. Okay, you'll trust me on it. Okay, it appears over here as well. Look at the Tosfos, guys. Hareini Nazir. Turn the Amid base. Turn to the Amid base on Tesayin Amid base. Tesayin Amid base. The Tosfos Hareini Nazir Meya Yom Nitma Yom Meya Seiser Akol Shehu Achron Shel Nazirusai Ulrabanan Lo Yamina Mixiyam Kekula Heicha de Nitma Lo Hebi Kavanai stuff. You don't say Mixiyam Kekula where you got Tamei and then you Kavanai. Okay, so very good. So we have we're good. So everything. So guys, there's this din of 30. It's a din d'Rabbanan with Geyser the day 101 up to day 30, and just like day 30 besides Esakol, what does day 30 have to do with 101? They're both days that you finish your Naziris. Good, but day 30 you would be Seiser. Day 101 you really is after you finish your Naziris, and therefore you only do the Rabbanan with Geyser 30 days. And Rabbi Eliezer disagrees and says it wasn't Geyser at all. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Misha Mareini Nazir v'nitma yom shleishim seiser sakol. Again, it overrides your Naziris, and you'd have to start again after you bring carbon tuma. Rabbi Eliezer, I mean, it's seiser el shiva, meaning it's not seiser at all, and the shiva is for tumas space. I'm a base. Sub Rabbi Eliezer kol acham malois shiva seiser. Right? Rabbi Eliezer of the opinion anything that is after malois, right, is only shiva. Hareini Nazir shleishim yayin v'nitma yom shleishim seiser sakol like Polig Rabbi Eliezer damash shleimim. If you said a Nazir of 30 days, guys, in other words, if you stay Stam Naziris, Rabbi Eliezer is chaylik, but if you stay for 30 days, you need a full 30 days, you're not going to say Muslim Kukulai. Right? Right about the next. Hareini Nazir meya yayin v'nitma yayin meya seiser sakol. Rabbi Eliezer oimen is seiser el shleishim, right? Because we looked up the Kulan. This is a very Meshuna Dika Gemara, guys. Look at the lashon. The Kulan Kidavina Ba'aliba the Rapata Rav Masna. And it's such a shit. And everything Gemara brings the previous Gemara that we brought, everything discussed Rav Masna, Rapata, it's all there. Whatever. That's what I saw the Gemara. I said I got to go over it, and the whole dialogue, and you got everything. So I think Baruch Hashem, we did a nice job. Any questions? I'll take at a later date. Okay, we're up to the Mishnah now. The Mishnah, very famous Mishnah. We had it in Masechta Makis, the well-known Mishnah. Misha Nazir v'hu beveis hakvaris. Now, guys, like this: if a person's tahar, he's a Nazir. He was a Kabul Naziris B'Taira, and then he becomes Tamei. So we have a whole parsha there of a Naziris Tuma. He's going to bring two birds. One is a Chatas, one is an Ayla, and it's going to bring an Ayel as an Asham Naziris. It's going to bring an Ayel as Asham Naziris. That's if he was tahar and then became Tamei. What happens if he's Makabel Naziris Bituma? In other words, this case in the Mishnah, he's in the Beis HaKfaris, and he's Makabel Naziris in the Beis HaKfaris. But who adin if he wasn't in the Beis HaKfaris? Let's say he was Tamei from he's Tamei Tumas Sheretz, Tumas Beis, and he's Makabel Naziris, right? If he's Makabel in the state of Tuma, what's the din? I guess the Tumas Meis would be. What's the din? What's the din? Okay, says the Mishnah. Misha Nazar v'hu bebeis HaKfaris. He makes a neder of Naziris, and he's in the Beis HaKfaris. Afilu hoyu sham lamid yoin. Even if he's there for 30 days, ein oiloloi min haminyan, meaning it doesn't count that he started his Naziris that he could come out of the cemetery, guys, bring a carbon for Tuma, and then start a new Naziris, meaning there is no carbon Tuma. Ain oilim and a minion. It doesn't count. There's no Kabbalist Naziris. In other words, he could be a Nazir, as we see, but he's Makabal Naziris Bituma. A person who's Makabal Naziris Bituma does not bring the Karbanis of Tuma. So the lead-in over here is Ain oilim and a minion, ve'enai maybe carbon Tuma. Since it's not oilim and a minion that he wasn't counting Naziris, there can't be bringing the Chatas, the oila, and the Ayal Asham.
When does Naziris count?
Right.
30 days. When does it count? It doesn't start from now. If he says Mekabel Naziris B'Tumah, right? He has to wait till he's.
We're going to see it's a machlokes in the Gemara. Machlokes in the Gemara whether he there's a Kabbalah and he doesn't have to be Makabel again. He just has to start when he cleans up, or you need a new Kabbalah. Machlokes. Okay. Yotzav v'nichnis Pirish. He leaves the cemetery. He goes ahead and he 7 days goes through the paraduma process. Now is tahar nichnis, and he goes back into the cemetery. Then oil minion, he's considered a nazir who may be carbon tuma, and he would bring a carbon tuma. So again, what's the rule of thumb? You could see if you're makabi naziris betuma, there is no carbon tuma. The parsha of naziris betuma is when you were makabi naziris in a state of tahira and then contracted tuma. It can't be on the seventh day. In other words, guys, day number 7. Here, guys, when you are a nazir and you're tameh, right? Let's say you 20 days, 30 days nazir is 20 days you tumas mace. 7 days. That 7th day is day 1 of starting over again. That day 1, in other words, once you that day of the 7th day starts over again. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion you need 2 days, not 1 day. So therefore, if this guy went into the cemetery on day 7, if of his Tyra, it's not going to go ahead and start again, according to Rabbi Eliezer. You need 2 days. Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, by yomim harishonim, guys, yomim yiplu achiyu yomim rishonim. You have for 2 days. Yomim is the loss in plural, so you would need 2 days before he goes into the cemetery, not 1. Okay, now here's the question. He's in the cemetery, he's Makabel Naziris. Is he a Nazir or not? What will you tell me? Either way, he has to start counting when he gets out of the cemetery. Either way, he can't bring the carbon tuma, right? And the answer is whether he has to be Makabel Naziris or not. Does he need a new Kabbalah or not? Right? Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion he's a Nazir and does not need a new Kabbalah. Rabbi Shlokish of the opinion he's not a Nazir at all and he would need a new Kabbalah.
And he has no chumash of the Nazir?
But he's a what do you mean?
That means he can't drink yain?
No. Not only that, right? So right, if he's a Nazir, then he would not be able to drink wine and correct. Itmar, Misha Nazir, v'hu beis hakfaris. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Naziris chalolav. Naziris, in fact, is chal upon him. Naziris is chal upon him. Reish Lakish Amar, a Naziris chalolav. Naziris is not chal upon him. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Naziris chalolav. Rabbi Yochanan is the opinion that he's a Nazir. Savar mitlatalia. The Naziris is like in suspended animation, whatever that means. The kaima, and it's there. And kivin the mishkacha tahira chayla. As soon as it finds that you're tahar, it's right there, and boom, it descends and it comes upon you. So it's kabiyachal, it's kind of there, and then as soon as you go ahead and tahira, you purify yourself, then it falls in. Right? If he goes back and says, I want to be a Nazir, then he's a Nazir. And if he doesn't say, then he's not. The Gemara now will question Reish Lakish Shita. Guys, from our Mishnah, look what the Lashon of our Mishnah is. If you're in a basic forest, it doesn't count. You don't have to bring a carbon tuma. Mashma, you don't have to bring a carbon tuma. Mashma, but you're a Nazir. It's a raya. It says the Esav Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, Misha Nazir were basic forest. Someone who was a Nazir in the basic forest, Afilu Hayasham Shloishim Yoim, even if he was there for 30 days, Ein Oilam Min Minyan. It does not count towards his Naziris. Then it may be carbon tuma. Carbon tuma hudaloi maisi. It doesn't mean a carbon tuma. Amecha chalaleha, but the Naziris is chal. Kasher on Reish Lakish. Amalei Reish Lakish answers, Eina b'toiris tuma, the Eina b'toiris carbon. Right? He's not in the ballpark at all. He's not in Reish Lakish. Is not in the ballpark at all. Look at the third Taisus in the bottom. It's not chal while he's tamei. Afshe yitaher. The oz yitzrich lachzul lekabel alav naziris. He'd have to go back and be makabel in naziris. So the last Taisus, Amalei enim taris tuma lechal naziris klal. And it doesn't mean he's not bechlal in the ballpark. Zero. Back in the Gemara, one more kasha. Esevei misha yatamei. He was tamei for Nazir, and he made a kabbalah from naziris. Yankel's point. However, guys, you're tamei. You make a kabbalah from naziris. You drink wine. You're getting malchus. Why are you getting malchus? You're not a Nazir. Like Reish Lakish. You're not a Nazir like Reish Lakish. Why are you getting malchus? It was a riot to Rabbi Yochanan and a kasha on Reish Lakish. So Bishlem Mechayel, Bishlem, you tell me that what it's chal, I know time of this Seifik is Aboyim. That would explain La Yachal Devara, you're getting malchus. If you can tell me it's not chal, my Seifik is Aboyim. So how would Reish Lakish answer that? Amir Aleph, it's not speaking where he was tamei throughout. It's speaking where he was tamei, went out, purified himself, and went back in. Reish Lakish is maida, then he'll go ahead, even though he's in a state of tumah, because you have to be the kabbanis, he'd be asa. Of course, there's a lot. That's real nice to meet you. Hopefully, we'll